My boyfriend told me I was gay. I didn't know it. I mean, it was one of those weird moments in your life. This was when I was 14, right? I had a boyfriend, and we used to sleep together when my parents went up to the cottage on the weekend because we had the house to ourselves, but we never actually put a name on what we were doing. And then one Sunday morning, he suddenly sat up in bed and said, "You're a homosexual." And I thought, oh, okay. And also, in the early '60s, there were a couple little eruptions of interest in gay people in our media. The Toronto Telegram did a series of articles about people in the city, and one of the spreads was about a gay male couple. And actually, no, I cut that out and saved it for years because it was the only thing that actually spoke to my existence here in Toronto. Went to graduate school at Cornell University in upstate New York. I had gotten a reference to a counselor or a psychologist at Cornell from my doctor because I started talking to him about the fact I was gay and what to do about it. So I went to see the psychologist when I arrived at Cornell, and he said, well, I'm dealing with psychotics. Frankly, homosexuality is not a big deal. Why don't you just go and join an organization, which I did, right? So by that time, I was working for the Body Politic, and I came home that night from work, I think around 11 o'clock or so, and I saw that Brian wasn't home. And then a few minutes later, someone called from the office, I think I met Gerald Hanna, and say, we were getting news that all of the bathhouses had been raided. And so I looked two and two together, because Brian used to go out to the baths often when I wasn't home. And I figured, okay, well, he's one of the people who's arrested, and that was to prove to be correct, of course. So we were both involved in that, and I mean it was a pivotal moment for our communities because we might have done nothing, right? And in fact, that option was on the table. So it was very to me, it's very educational. Asking, so what has changed? Why is it that last week none of these people would be caught dead in a demonstration behind a banner or holding a sign, and suddenly this week they're there. And of course, later on, when we discovered there were also undercover police officers in many of our community organizations. So, there's a famous picture, famous to me anyway, in the Body Politic, where we're actually able to identify two undercover police officers helping to carry the banner at the front of one of the bathhouse raids demonstrations. This is how they were, muscling in on even what you were talking about and thinking and so forth. Well, I would say keep your eyes open and don't be fooled. Society goes to a much greater length now to make us feel that it doesn't have any problem with us. The fact is we can't help but be a problem, whether we want to be or not, for our society, given the way it's organized and given the human needs that we have. So I think it's very important for people to look beneath the surface of acceptance and ask what price they're being asked to pay to be accepted.